Hi, family. It's Monday. It's Yolanda, and I'm checking in during our summer break. I am fresh off of a much needed vacation in the Caribbean, rested, refreshed, and I'm still paying attention. While we're keeping things short this season, I didn't want to miss the chance to say something about the big ugly bill making its way through Congress and ready for the president's signature. With cuts to SNAP, Pell Grants, and Medicaid, this bill is more than just a tax break for the rich. It's a direct attack on people trying to survive, the people that we know should be at the table. You can't budget your way out of poverty when the floor keeps disappearing. You can't pull yourself up off bootstraps when you don't have boots. So I want us to stay aware, stay connected, have a longer conversation about this when we return. But I do have just a clip of context from a video I saw this week that I think will have all of us thinking about, or should be thinking about, what we can do to change the landscape within our area of influence. Take a minute or two and listen to this.
Every time this comes up, I want to talk about it because I find this so interesting how so many people don't understand that you can't budget yourself out of poverty. Being poor is more expensive than being wealthy. Not just because of the by volume money you have to spend, the percentage of your income that you have to spend, but the things you buy are actually more expensive per product. And I was talking to a girlfriend I had some years ago, and she brought up the question. She's like, I just wish more people had financial education and they could, do better to learn how to budget themselves a little better. And maybe that would help. And I had to explain to her, I was like, when I made $15 an hour, my ex-wife, who I was married to at the time, this is going back 15, 16 years ago, she made $8 an hour working at the Meijer store in Michigan. And so with that money, we were down to sub $1 left over, paying all of our bills. We had no debt, but that is how tight we were budgeting. I would go to the store and we would go to buy toilet paper, and a 4-pack of toilet paper was almost $4. So let's just go ahead and pretend $1 per roll. Now, if I had been able to spend $20 on toilet paper, I could have gotten a 48-pack. I could have gotten that toilet paper that I still would have used, but had I been able to buy it in a larger quantity, I would have been able to get it for 40 cents a piece. So much of the things that poor people engage in are because they literally cannot afford the more expensive option. Another fantastic example, and if you've been with me for a long time, you've heard this. When that same time frame, we were having to go to the laundromat to wash our clothes. It would cost about $80 a month to go to the laundromat to wash clothes for 2 adults and a baby. Why didn't you just buy a washer and dryer? When you're budgeting down to the penny, you can't afford to just go spend $200 on a used washer and dryer. Now, when I got a raise, I went from $15 an hour to $25 an hour. My paychecks were substantially bigger. And the first thing I did was go buy a washer and dryer. Now, that washer and dryer paid for itself in 2 months. We're paying $80 a month. It essentially paid for itself in 2 months. Now, every single month moving forward after those first 2 months, I have access to an additional $80 in my bank account that I didn't have before. You throw the toilet paper on there, over that, just those 2 little things, it's $84 a month that I now have access to that I didn't have access to before because I had the financial power to make the smarter financial decision. When you are poor, you do not have access to this power. And that's just 2 little baby examples. When you're poor, and you guys have made it this far, I want to know what other examples, these are my 2 favorites because they apply to me, but I want to know other examples that you've seen like this.
I know we're on summer break, but really quick, I have an example. On this past week, July 3rd through the 6th, if you had Amazon Prime, you could get $1 per gallon off of gas. Now, in order to have Amazon Prime, you need at least $140 extra to pay for the program. And there are other benefits that come with it beyond free shipping. But imagine that if you don't have that $140 and you can't pay for that program, then you are automatically cut out of this opportunity to have cheaper gas, even if just for the holiday weekend. These are the types of things that are missing, and so much more. Again, we can't get into it. I want to get into it so bad, but we'll get into it a little more when I return from break. But let's think about how we help to change the landscape and reshape opportunity and access for all as much as possible within our ability to do so. All right. Until next time, thanks as always for listening. Please like, please share, and take care, and dine well.